Let me see.
All right. Good morning and welcome to the Gunnar Vibe. Joining me today is Varun Kalyan. A great day for Arsenal. We just trashed Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium for nothing. Good results all around. Varun, what are your feelings? Tell me how you
Today,
really feel.
yeah, I today my feelings are, I think, better expressed through, I think, two or three chants. I think the one chant which I think and definitely I want to start with is 49-49 unbeaten, right? And 49-49 undefeated and playing the Arsenal way, because City have lost today at, the Molineux, and 49 unbeaten remains preserved for us, and actually we are unbeaten this season as well.
Hmm.
So absolutely magnificent result for us, with City's loss and directly going head to head next week. So we can actually, go closer to them. We're already 1 point behind. So, amazing result for us. So that was one. And then I think the Arsenal fans were very clever today. I don't know. Kai Havertz has been getting a lot of slack. I mean, myself included, like I doubted him as well. But I think he needed that goal, and you could see his reaction. He was very grateful to the fans. And I think the chant they had for him was around the 2010 World Cup song, Waka Waka, if you heard it. So it went something around Waka Waka a 60 million down the drain, but Kai Havertz has scored again. So I think that was a great chant. I think the fans loved it and Kai Havertz loved it. Again, great performance. And I think my tagline today was like, what injury crisis, right? Like we were like, everybody was out before this game. I don't know whether it is mind games by Arteta or
Hmm.
these guys literally were out, and suddenly out of 8 injured players, we had 5 of them back. So
Yeah.
let's discuss that. I mean, this is amazing. Today is an amazing day. United lost 1-0 again at home. So not that United were going to trouble us in the title, but their fans are very nagging and like they're pretty useless every time you see them. So I love when United lose a game. So,
Yeah.
and today City and United lost. So today is a great day. So
Yeah.
yeah. What
Fantastic.
are your
Fantastic
thoughts?
game. Yeah. I mean, likewise, Arsenal winning is always fun. Arsenal winning away from home all season, it's been like that where Arsenal playing away have been really solid. I think they have not conceded a goal away from home this season at all. Uh, we definitely want this to be the case in the Emirates. Next weekend is going to be a really, really big game. We
Yeah.
haven't played against Man City that well in the recent seasons at all, so we'll need to turn our form in the Emirates stadiums, get the win, maybe get a clean sheet. We'll come back to that, but let's start with the lineup. Like we always talk about the lineup. You talked about how
Yeah.
Arteta mentioned injury crisis, but there were some changes. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think um I mean, my assumption before knowing the team news was Saka out, Rice out, and Saliba being out. I think so. Those were like my three main concerns. Everybody else, like for example, Vieira, uh, the other guys who are already out, which is Timber, Partey, and like those guys were all expected. But I think these main three guys being out was actually a shocker before the game. But then I was very surprised to see them, play almost like, I think Rice played 60 minutes, and then the other guys played around like 60 to 80, I think 80 minutes.
Mhm.
Uh, So I was assuming we're gonna have a depleted squad, like, with Jorginho being in, and I was assuming Nelson was gonna be in for Saka, but fairly surprised with the starting lineup. But again, good to have those guys back. Luckily, we don't have severe injuries to them. So that's a positive sign.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was a little surprised. I heard that Saka, Rice, and I believe Vieira traveled last night.
And
So,
Saliba as well, right?
and
Did we have
Saliba as
Saliba
well.
start? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, Saliba started. So that was not, I mean, when I heard that they are going to travel, I wasn't surprised that they're they are not going to start. I was still surprised looking at the lineup, to be honest, because last week we started Nketiah and uh, Jesus out wide, and it wasn't the greatest game against this Tottenham.
Yeah.
I was expecting with the way Reece Nelson played midweek, he would be playing or starting the game. But yeah, we started very brightly against a pretty poor Bournemouth side.
Yeah.
They didn't really get going. To be honest, we were not in the fifth gear or top gear at all, but we're still very comfortable passing around. Raya was comfortable passing to our center backs and out wide. What do you think about how we played in the first half?
Yeah, I think, as you said, I mean, this Bournemouth side was not any like in any kind of form or like a threat to Arsenal. It was more about like us finding the rhythm, and I think slowly I think we were comfortable, like is what I could say. Like we didn't have any threat to our goal. Raya again, like I mean, he really didn't have much to do except for a couple of saves here and there, but great again to get the clean sheet. I feel like this was more about us finding the form, which we did. We could have gotten a couple of extra goals. I think Smith Rowe missed a couple of great chances, and Nketiah had a couple of chances, and so all in all, a fair result. I feel like 4-0 was good. We got that extra goal in the end, building up our goal difference, and yeah, I think we were crisp. I think I didn't see much of threat from Bournemouth, even though they had like defensive numbers back. We were able to break them down. So no complaints. I mean, like I think Arteta's with the people he had, his selection was great. I mean, he couldn't have picked anyone incorrectly. All I could have done is maybe subbed, uh, the people who came off injuries, like for example, Saka, Rice, and maybe Saliba. I would have brought them off a little sooner just to keep them fit for the City game. But
Mm.
beyond that, I didn't have any complaints with this game. It
Yeah.
was very straightforward. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely saw some good flashes.
Yeah.
Obviously, Bournemouth were sitting back a little bit. They were not super adventurous because it was a little funny to see them play because they didn't press us,
Yeah.
uh, nor did they feel very secure in the back. Their midfield is pretty uh, is usually decent, Billings and Cook, but
Mm.
they were not uh, on the game as much as Rice was. Rice was
Yeah.
able to help us very quickly. I was glad to see Arsenal actually string a lot of passes good.
Yeah.
The old Arsenal way of slick passing and move that which actually brought about the first goal. Jesus heading across that Odegaard had and
Yeah.
hit the post, I believe, and then an easy head in for Saka, which is
Saka.
really
Yeah.
rare to see Saka head a ball, but it was an easy goal for Arsenal that way. What did you think about the penalties? Actually, yeah, the first penalty.
Yeah, I think it was a straightforward call. Yeah, it was a clear decision. It was a penalty, no dispute on that. The ref had the right view of it, and I think that was a clear penalty. He got most of the player first, and then he barely touched the ball after, and his feet was like kind of up. So I think that was a good decision by the referee, and we were knocking on the door, as you said, right? Like I'm just looking at the momentum charts. We all Bournemouth actually had, as you said, those flashes just in the second half after we scored, and then that 73 to 80.
Mm.
Beyond that, it was all us, right? Like, so even before the penalty, we had the momentum and we were creating those chances. And, it after Saka's goal, it kind of opened the door for us. And it was, yeah, straightforward penalty. When I saw it, I was like, okay, this is, the referee straight pointed to the spot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it was great penalty by Odegaard. Reminded me of the Palace game, right? Same. Nketiah did the exact same, right? It was like a replica of that. He got the um, defender run up and then he got the penalty there. So, Great
Right.
work by the striker as well as, Odegaard finishing it.
What did you think about who took the penalties? Because
Yeah.
officially or not officially, but Saka is our go-to penalty taker, but both the penalties were handed over to other
Yeah.
players. Odegaard was a surprise, to be honest. I didn't expect Saka
Yeah.
to give the penalty to Odegaard,
Right.
nor did I expect Saka to give the penalty to Havertz. But it was definitely a good sign, or at least it felt good. Everyone in the
Yeah.
Arsenal section felt that was a really good thing to do for Havertz's confidence. But what do you think about the penalty takers?
Right. I think I remember, if I remember correctly, when this happened for the first time, I think this was at the Palace game. I think Saka was gonna take there again, and I think the decision on the field was, I think, taken by Odegaard, and I think I actually like that leadership from Odegaard. So he knows that Saka has been under pressure, like, with penalties getting missed and things like that. So he actually took responsibility in that, like, first situation, got us to 2-0. And I think when the second penalty, I feel, again, he was, again, this is a sign of leadership. He was basically wanting to give it to Kai Havertz just to get that monkey off his back, right? Like he has no goals and things like that. And you could see from Havertz's reaction that he was very grateful, and like he loved that feeling of the fans chanting his name.
Mm.
So, and Saka already had a goal to his name from the first half. So I think this was more of an Odegaard, like the captain's decision on the field, kind of spreading out the goals so that, everyone gets a piece of the pie and gets them off the mark, right? So I think that was a great thing I saw. Like, I think this is a great sign of good leadership.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
touched upon how Arsenal pretty much dominated even the second half. There was a period of about 5 to 7 minutes where Bournemouth was on top, but didn't really create a lot. I was just looking at the number of shots on target. Bournemouth had one, Arsenal had eight.
Right.
Lots of shots off target for both Arsenal and Bournemouth. However, at the end, I mean, it was pretty much an icing on the cake when Ben White hit that header. It was
Yeah.
you would not bet on Ben White to score, but that was a really beautiful header, to be honest.
Beautiful goal. I mean, and if you remember, this is his only second or third Premier League goal. The first Premier League goal was against Bournemouth when
Mm.
he equalized at the Emirates before we, scored the winner. So maybe he loves scoring against Bournemouth. Glad to see him on the score sheet. I mean, he's a great character. He's a very underrated player who, I mean, not to jinx him, but he's always like present, right? He's never injured. He plays through the pain barrier. If you remember him perform against Newcastle 2 seasons ago, where we lost 2-0 and we kind of lost the top four race, he was actually injured, like, and like, he still came, he was on the lineup, and he actually played center back when we had other defenders out. I think I don't remember who else was there. He's a great character, and I feel like that was, a welcome goal for him. I would have loved to get another goal maybe for Smith Rowe. He tried really hard, but that's the only little, not a complaint, but a little bit of suggestion maybe to Arteta would have been, once you went 3-0, you could have instantly subbed Saka for Nelson, and like, Jorginho for Rice, and maybe, someone else for for Smith Rowe. Just give them more game time, right? I think the players around the first team also need to be a little more fresh. We could see that, Smith Rowe was a little rusty, haven't been playing for so long. So just if we could have bought them a little early, but again, no other complaints. The team was like very crisp. We have almost 3.47 xG, like, chances for goals, 15 shots total, 8 shots on target. So we were like destined to win the game. And great results all over the Premier League. Actually, Luton Town won the first game in the Premier League against Everton. I mean, those were like some good results, I feel, all over. Crystal Palace 1-0 to at Old Trafford.
Yeah, that's a big result.
And then of course the Wolves game, right? I think that is the sticking. I mean, the other thing is, if you have noticed, Aston Villa,
Yeah.
they have been. I mean, they won 6-1 today, and actually they're in the top four.
Hmm.
So Unai Emery is slowly but steadily proving the Arsenal leadership that maybe you guys made a mistake. Like, if I have been given the necessary tools, I can do a good job. So great to see Unai Emery do well, because with the least amount of resources at Aston Villa, he's doing a great job.
Yeah.
Uh, so kudos all around the Premier League. Arsenal back where they belong, between 1 and 2. And I'm just hoping today, between Liverpool and Tottenham, I think Liverpool look like a side to be afraid of this season. They don't look like Liverpool of last season. Maybe I think this is going to be a three-horse race. I mean, again, early prediction. It's going to be City, Arsenal, and Liverpool going all
Mm.
the way versus just City and Arsenal. Maybe that'll help us out, because if you're just going head to head with City, I feel the pressure is on us. But
Mhm.
if you have the third horse in play, in form of Liverpool, it takes the pressure off of Arsenal, right? We can just focus on being around the top, and they kind of add the third dimension to this league. So
Yeah, yeah,
let's see.
definitely
Maybe they defeat
take the
Tottenham.
pressure off of Arsenal when there is another team there.
I think so. I think
Yeah,
so. That's probably going to help us, because last season it was a very, like, binary, City or Arsenal. And if, we were fine till game 30, but then the last 8 games, we just couldn't handle the pressure. So
yeah.
yeah.
It also boils down to the team, like you mentioned, getting Smith Rowe, Nelson more
Yeah.
game time is useful. I would have thought at some point when Jesus was struggling at the end, would have got Trossard in to give some minutes before the next Champions League game against Lens,
Yeah.
at least. So there are some changes that I would have expected. There is still a lot of games remaining. There's a lot of
Yeah.
Champions League. We are still in all the cups, domestic cups, and obviously Premier League. So we definitely need all our squad to be available, ready for the next how many other games we have until the
Yeah.
break. But Lens, the Champions League game next, it's going to be huge because it's the first away Champions League game for us.
Yeah.
Obviously, following that is the big game at the Emirates against Man City. We have already, quote unquote, defeated them in the Community Shield this year, but this is more serious. So let's talk about what your
Yeah.
feelings are towards the next Premier League game.
I mean, great premise to that. I'm assuming we go to France, in Lens, we do our job, we come back, maybe play those guys who didn't get much time, right? Like, play the starting 11, go maybe 2-0 up, and like kind of like get the big boys out and like rest them. And one good thing is, our Champions League game is on Tuesday, and I think City's Champions League game, let me see, I think they have it on Wednesday.
Mm.
So yeah, so that is an advantage. So we have a little bit of fitness advantage over City, like we have a 24-hour advantage. And now moving on to I see like, so I break it down to these three things. One is the fitness advantage, which I mentioned. The second thing I see is the team is different this year for Man City. So Phil Foden is out, Kevin De Bruyne is out, and Rodri is suspended, right? And Ilkay Gundogan is gone, right? So the team that defeated us last time, there are 4 or 5, strong guys out of the midfield, and like, potentially defensive midfield.
Mm.
So that's a plus for us. And I feel um, last year when we played them, of course, this fixture was moved due to the Queen's passing, and it was kind of put into the second half towards the business end of the season. So this year, at least, I am more confident this year.
Mm.
A being the
It
team, Man
has
City is slightly weaker.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Actually, one thing I wanted
yeah,
to point out, since Rodri got the red card, City has not won any of the domestic games.
yeah,
Obviously, they have won the Champions League game. they are Rodri is still available for the next Champions League game, but
Right.
he's not available in the game against Arsenal. So that is
Yeah.
a really, really big boost.
Yeah,
Plus,
as you pointed out, City actually have two defeats on the spin. So
Mhm.
1-0 to Newcastle on they are knocked out of the EFL Cup. So they no longer can do their quadruple dream and like all this kind of nonsense that their fans keep talking about.
Yeah.
And B is they lost today again. And to be honest, Wolves have not been the Wolves that we saw against when Nuno was their manager, right? So very underwhelming Wolves. I would love to go and watch the highlights because it's a very surprising result in my opinion. Like they were not 2-0 or 2-1 down at the very last minute, right? It was 2-1 at minute 66. They
Mm,
had a good 30 minutes plus extra time to turn this around, and it was not like a red card or anything, but they couldn't get that win across. Um, I feel this is the perfect time to play City.
mm,
But again, it could be a reverse reaction as well. Like they're going to come all guns blazing. But I feel the stars are aligned for Arsenal to set the record straight against City, at least at the Emirates, right?
mm,
Forget the game at the Etihad. At least our home, whether it's a 1-0 or a 2-1, I feel we need to get the win, right? I think we should go for the kill and like try to get the win because that is again going to be one of the wins that will kind of like take us to the next level. I think we were very close to defeating City at the Emirates, and I think Rodri was the game spoiler. He scored at that 92nd minute. He,
mm.
just poked the ball in 2 years ago. We came very close to defeating City that time. Last year, 3-1 was a complete capitulation. We just threw the game away with Tomiyasu giving the back pass, and we weren't ourselves last season.
Yeah.
But with the guys we have in now, with like the strength of Declan Rice and the stronger bench, Trossard, Nelson, and hopefully like with Saliba and Saka and all the big guys back, we should go for the win. I mean, we need to go for the win, get a single goal win, and then go into the break, right? I think after that it's an international break, if I'm not wrong. So
Yeah.
that's my prediction. A 1-0 or a 2-1. I mean, it's going to be a very tight game.
Mm,
And without Rodri, as you said correctly, they've not been themselves. And without Foden, Rodri, Gundogan gone, and then this guy, Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne has actually been a thorn in our side because he's the one who opened the scoring against us at the Etihad, if you remember, minute 8.
mm,
And then he did the same thing. He was equalizing our goal, which was a mistake from Tomiyasu. So with those guys out, if Gabriel can keep Haaland quiet, right? If he cut the supply lines for Haaland cannot do anything. Like today, if you see, he didn't score the goal. Like I think it was Alvarez who scored the
mm.
goal.
Yeah.
I feel this is the best time to play City, right? They're down. We probably need to, I think Robbie from AFTV, I think he said when you have City down on their knees, you probably just need to go for the kill, right? You need to get this thing. You cannot let them come back to us.
Mhm.
So fingers
And
crossed.
and also, like you pointed out, 1-0 for the Arsenal.
Yes,
Definitely had a good ring to it. I hope
yes.
that's the
One
case
nil,
again.
1-0, or I think scoreline, whatever the scoreline. I think we shouldn't settle for a draw. Of
Mhm.
course, if we are losing 2-1 and if we get 2-2, that's a great result against City. But I feel if we are in a winning position, I think we should close the game out and try to win it. Like, I mean, if you look at today, if you quickly want to look at how they were dominant against Wolves, if you look at the possession, I'm just going to read out the stats because this is going to be super important for us. They had,
I think it's about
they
74%.
have seven, yeah, like 68% to 32% possession.
Mm,
In terms of momentum, if you see the momentum chart, Wolves literally had a combined 7 to 8 minutes of momentum in the 90 minutes.
mm,
And they got the own goal against Ruben Diaz in that first momentum that they had in the first half. If you look at the second half, they barely had a kick of the ball, right? But against momentum, they got the goal. So that is a very good stat to know for the Arsenal players. And if you look at the XG, even though like Wolves only had 32% overall possession, Wolves had an XG of 0.44 and City only had 0.87.
Mm.
So they didn't have like that, our XG today was 3.47, which was like justified, like 4 goals.
Mm.
And if you saw the total shots, Wolves had 3 total shots, 20 and to Man City's 23.
Mm.
And then on target, Wolves had only 1 shot on target to Man City's 8. So I feel like we should use probably like the Wolves template.
Yeah.
And we have better quality than Wolves. So we can definitely, I feel we can do a better job. I'm excited. This is actually a truly exciting time to play Man City because they're not like how they were last season. They were like a steam train. Both the fixtures, right? Like
Mm.
the fixture at the Emirates, they defeated us, and I think we were on the same points, but we had a superior goal difference, and then we pulled away for 5 points again. But then when we went to the Etihad again, they snatched back the Premier League from us, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I feel this year we need to change that, right? We need to show Man City that we are back in the business for the big trophies,
Mm.
and kind of like punch them when they're down. So
Well, at least we know now that Rodri they are a big game man. Or
yeah,
if they don't have Rodri, they don't have De Bruyne, they are not as good as
yeah,
people think.
creative, yeah, yeah.
So we'll wait and see. We'll react to that game when it
Oh,
comes.
that's gonna be insane again. Who knows what's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
But looking forward to that. Let's see. But I'm positive is what my gut feeling is, and I'm positive for a win. Right. Last year when we went to the Etihad, I was like, no way we can. Maybe a draw is a maximum result we can get, but I think this time at the Emirates, I'm confident for a slender win. Like
Yeah.
that's all I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see how that goes. Really beautiful day for the Arsenal today.
Yeah,
Um,
today was in terms of the Gunnar vibe, I think, great Gunnar vibe today. So
Perfect win, perfect results all
yeah.
around. Let's hope that's the case with the Liverpool Tottenham game.
What's your prediction for that?
I'm hoping for a 2-2 draw again. Not hoping, I think it would be a 2-2 draw because both teams are very, very solid. They are good, very good at attacking. I feel both teams are a little um, not so great in defense, although Liverpool still have Van Dijk. I would think because Spurs are at home, they'll be better defensively, but they seem to go gung ho when under Ange Postecoglou,
Yeah.
and Klopp has really good attacking players in his belt as well. So it's going to be a good game overall. Really good um, attacking game, I would hope.
Yeah.
Good for neutrals like us, but I honestly don't care. If
Yeah.
both teams drop points and all 11 players get red cards, I'll be more than happy.
Yeah.
Never
No,
gonna happen, but
exactly.
hopefully that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. My prediction is I'm very torn. I actually want both of them to lose. I'm actually hoping for a Liverpool loss. Again, my looking at the big picture, I see Liverpool as the challenger, the third challenger for the Premier League.
Mhm.
Spurs, I'm not bothered as they'll challenge. They're not challenging for the league. They're going to be in the top four, that's for sure. But I actually would want Liverpool to get the L today because I know Spurs are going to lose to like a minnow, like in a week or so.
Mhm.
They're like crazy. Like they'll beat Liverpool today and then they'll lose to like Wolves or something, right? Spurs are capable of that. But today I'm actually hoping for a Spurs win, like maybe a 2-1 or a 3-2, like, very close game because Liverpool will get that loss again. And again, our unbeaten 49 is going to be protected and 3 points drop for one of the other challenger, right? So let's see. That's my prediction. But I think it might end up as a draw because they're very evenly. It's
Mhm.
going to be like the Arsenal Tottenham game.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's wait and see. The game actually has already started, but
Okay.
we'll talk more Arsenal than Liverpool or Tottenham.
Yeah.
So let's see how things go next weekend. But until then, any last words? Varun?
Just enjoying today, soaking in the two Manchester clubs losing and Arsenal winning.
Mm,
And yeah, that's all I can ask for. I mean, that's happy all over. So
right.
great Gunnar vibe. So thank you so much, Arun. Uh, let's catch up again, hopefully after the City game, and
Mhm.
we probably are in the same mood as today.
Yep, yep,
Yeah,
certainly.
yeah.
Well, we'll leave it at that. We'll catch up again next week. If you like the content that Varun and I have been providing you guys, please subscribe and like the video. We'll really appreciate it. But until then, uh, up the Arsenal.
Peace. Go
Bye.
Arsenal.